Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Satsang. Let's make some silence first. All impressions, all experiences, visions, they are there diverting my attention from silence. But silence is where I hold on to, no matter what comes. Any impression, sound, appears from silence and disappears into silence. To all phenomenons, there's an unchanging background. I remain with that background. I will answer your question now. Just reminding those of you who are watching that we use WhatsApp as a means of communication. The number appears on the comments. And it is easier if you have questions because it comes directly to me. If you post on the comments, then they will have to send it to me because I'm not watching the comments. Okay, so eating meat and fish is a habit from birth imparted to us by our parents, and world is united in this folly. God had given hints to mankind like swine flu and coronavirus, but it's very difficult to eradicate these eating habits from the world. What's your say on this? I will address the question from where it is coming, not so much for the question itself. Like I usually say, I don't have comments to do about the world. I'm interested only in seekers of truth. But clarifying this question, where this question is coming from. And there's this confusion. There's a lot of this confusion about what a seeker of truth is. And the seeker of truth is not an individual who is trying to change the world. He's not into social work, social activities. It is not his duty. The quest for truth is the highest duty and comes above all other duties. So the seeker of truth, as he is trying to change the world, well, he's not a seeker of truth yet, because he is giving importance to the world, trying to change it, trying to make it a better place. And you cannot do two things at the same time. No possible. To break your world of importances by continuing to give importance to it. Doesn't work like that. So, whatever habits are there, and there are different kinds of habits, and the beliefs that arise because of these habits, these beliefs are the things that crystallize what you call reality. It doesn't matter which kind. It really doesn't. The best beliefs are still beliefs, and they are still binding. So it doesn't matter how, in terms of the world, you can call your story as a very bad story or a very good story. It is still a story. And into the game that is being played, a story, there must be a story. There must be veils to unveil. It is like this. So it doesn't matter which kind of veils, beliefs, how bad it was, how good it was. There's not a better story than another story. Each story is perfect for you because it is your conditioning. And the conditioning also reveals in itself the path towards freedom. Each circumstances, each stories, if we would compare, we would find advantages and disadvantages. Sorry. That's the only difference, but not one better than the other. They will offer different advantages and disadvantages. That's it. And this could be discussed in length, and it would still continue with the same conclusion. They are just different circumstances. and the first experiences, if they are more worldly, I hear sometimes people talk about, oh, but if I was born in a family, a spiritual family, that practice yoga and so, it would be better. I would be lucky if that happened because I would resume early. But is really that the case? Is it really? Probably not. Yoga would just part of your worldly belief, and it wouldn't come out in the same potency, and probably it would take longer to be able to go beyond all that was developed because of that, and to find the real life behind spiritual practices. These days it is easy to see a lot of children growing in these spiritual communities, and those circumstances will be their worldly world. A part of it will be a worldly, something normal. It will become part of the delusion. So everything has advantages and disadvantages. That's all. And you cannot outsmart delusion. You cannot outsmart Maya. You can outgrow it by humbleness, hard work, and blessing. So whatever your situation is, it is perfect for what you need. There's nothing to remove or to change. It is perfect. You just have to figure it out, to do the best out of it. And what is seen is, some make it happen, others don't. Others spend time complaining about their circumstances. And you see what is called in general terms as bad life, bad circumstances. And if I hadn't had this life, things would be different and all of that. Probably. Would that be better? Not sure. Would be different for sure. Better, maybe not. Like I said, advantages, disadvantages. So someone who has very bad circumstances in life, well, he can continue to struggle hard to make those circumstances better, or it can use them to see that there's nothing worthwhile in the world. So I'll dedicate completely to the divine. Depends what you do with it. So in a sense, those who have the worst luck are luckier than those who have the best luck. It always depends on your values, motivations, and what you're really looking for. So what the world is doing, it's not the seeker of truth concern. He's not here to improve the dream. He's here to transcend it. So it doesn't matter what kind of a dream, what kind of belief system he was born in. If he has grown up, whatever that means, and he is capable of taking care of himself, think for himself, that is blessing already. And now he has everything he needs in his story, in his So in a sense, with whatever circumstance is there, there's a 50-50 chance for you to take it in the best way. In a way that helps your progression into the quest for truth, or in a way that creates an obstacle. 50-50 chance. So it's not about circumstances, it's about you, it's always about you. And if you're not seeing the best out of the worst, of what you call the worst, well, your blinders are still in place, so it is up to you to take them off. And when you take them off, you will see everything was always for the best. No dramas needed. It's just pure bliss. In any given situation, no matter how small or big, when you really want something, when you really want something, your mind looks for solutions. It doesn't matter how crazy the thing you're aspiring to is. It doesn't matter how out of this world, it doesn't matter. Your mind will be looking for solutions, trying to make things happening. But if you don't want it that much, if there are things that are still more important than that, your mind looks for problems, difficulties, for ways that to justify that it's not possible. So by the attitude that someone reveals in front of a difficult situation, you can see their motivations, depending on just how is the mind behaving. So looking at the dramas of your life with an attitude that it is very difficult, impossible, and it was because of this and because of that, just reveals that there are things that are more important for you. Sometimes people that have bad experience, what is called a bad experience, is not really, it's really very good, but it appears to be very bad. Most of the time they are holding to grudge, to hate, and they need those bad experiences and to continue to repeat them to justify the carrying of that hate. It becomes important as oxygen. But if they're seekers of truth and they persist, continue, there will be a time that these things will become less important than the quest for truth in factual terms. Because if you ask anyone, oh yes, quest for truth is the most important, but it takes time for all actions to really reflect this intent. Your story is your opportunity. If you use it correctly, if you understand, if you grow spiritually, mature, and be blessed, that means if you work hard, these things will come. Then you will see. You just have to figure out your puzzle, whatever that means. Nothing to change, nothing to improve. It was always about transcendence. So whatever habit, whatever life, whatever you've done previously, to that moment where you recognize yourself in the middle of a divine story, that the spark for the quest for truth arises in your heart, that moment can be a game changer. And no matter what you did previous to that, what you do after that, that counts, of course. What you did previously also, of course. But not in the way that you imagine. It doesn't limit you. And if you intensify your practices, and if you stay committed, focused, and surrender, whatever things were done that you shouldn't have done, or it doesn't matter, it will be repaid. Believe me, if there's any suffering that was caused, it will be experienced. Period. Bills will get paid, solved, problem solved, no need to worry about it. Just remember, if you're suffering in your quest for truth, if you already have put aside all human investments, all investments towards circumstantial happiness, everything apart from the quest for truth, and suffering is there, just remember, just paying your bills. When it's over, it's over. Because if you haven't taken this commitment, and if you're still causing suffering, whatever that means, and you're suffering, then, well, everybody suffers. So this idea that quest for truth or spirituality is in itself becoming a good person, and by that means someone that will please everybody, and that means that it will not experience suffering, this is not true. And about causing suffering is something that you are directly doing, not because you are frustrating expectations others have upon you. This is not what I mean. Because this will be inevitable. And a seeker of truth, when he leaves the world and he is turning more and more for the quest for truth, others will call him and will demand that they fulfill their own expectations. This is crazy. And a seeker of truth sometimes will see a mother, a father, a husband, a wife, children, whatever, suffering because of his decision. But that's got nothing to do with him. The quest for truth is the highest dharma. The highest one. For those who don't know what that means, is in relation to responsibilities towards life. The quest for truth is the highest responsibility. And it overthrows all others, if it has to. And that means, what it means if it has to. Well, if you're being called through a certain path, and whatever is there is becoming an obstacle, not letting you go, then it had to be put on the scale. And quest for truth always wins. Sometimes people give up the quest for truth because, well, they cannot stand the idea of what others will think of him. They believe that others are suffering because of them. And they give up. Well, if they give up, they give up. So the quest for truth was not that which is most important. Sometimes people continue, leave everything behind. And they continue because their quest for truth is in their minds the ultimate power of some sort. And it will amend everything that was wrong in their lives, correct the characteristics, and make their wishes come true. And this is not a quest for truth also. But still, one has a bigger chance than the other because one has continued. And if the spiritual work is there, no matter what the confusions are, either spiritual work stops or these motivations change. So your delusion is also your map towards freedom. That is your particular way of giving importance to the dream, and in that is visible, tangible, the ways that dissolution can be there for them. Nothing wrong, nothing to change, no better, no worse. So people sometimes say, oh, I was the worst of sinners, so I don't stand a chance in the path. Sometimes, those who say this actually stand more of a chance than those who don't believe it, because at least they have humbleness. Other times it's not humbleness, it is just, well, negativity. So each circumstance has advantages and disadvantages for the seeker of truth. And as more and more you get you take the commitment with your quest for truth, the more and more you will see only advantages. Everything becomes just an advantage. Something which is there to reveal you something which is important. The more your eyes turn higher and higher, the more things will reveal themselves in the proper way. Going up and down, but well. So each habit you will have to feel in your personal practice as you are intensifying your meditation. It will get clear that which stands in the way, that which improves your meditation, your silence, your stillness, and that which disturbs it. And this is how you follow your map. There are several guidelines in spiritual philosophies, yes, and the more you use, the better, yes, but eventually there will be things that are just for you, particular to you. you will develop this sensitivity. And you will learn to see if you're dedicated and you intensify your practice, focusing, you will have this clear vision of what is disturbing and what is helping. And of course, if freedom is what you want, whatever it is, you will put it aside. Whatever it helps, you will implement. So you are that which you think you are, is the starting point and the map towards freedom. Freedom is just breaking through your delusion. So we had some internet problems. Sometimes it is like this. On Instagram there was no problem, so you can catch the full video. If you lost something that is interesting for you, you can catch the full video on Instagram because it kept continuously. So for today that's it. If there's no more questions coming, and next satsang will be Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, Brazilian time, UTC -3. Until then, make the best use of your time. Watch.